gorgeous. Oneness evolving here outside in the wind. So I'm just going to show you the day, and then I'll go inside and tell you what I've been doing for God of me, because that is the thing. But look, you got to enjoy these flowers while they're here. This tree always has bad timing. It flowers, it comes out, and then the wind comes and kind of breaks everything. But it's so beautiful. I want you to see it and just have time to contemplate. It's a bit hard to get closer. You have to walk through the garden. Let me do that anyway. Here you go. It's a magnolia, of course. And look, you can see inside. So, hi Mike, look at my magnolia. This is the magnolia. There was a seedling that fell, a seed must have fallen out of a birdie's bottom. And it's taken a few years, but here it is. So it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful I get to show it to you, because it does get destroyed by the wind. And there are always winds at this time of the year. So, I'm just delighted I can actually capture this on camera, and you can see it. And the low branches are low, but they're so pretty. So, let me show you the rest of the garden. I'm going to walk out of here now. It's all a bit wild, but that's the point. So, the daffodils are, whoops, punching my hand in here. The daffodils are all facing in the wrong direction, but there they are. Facing away from the wind. There must be a reason for that. I'm going to show you. Oh, there you go. Now you can see the fronts of them. So there are daffodils, and these jonquils are getting old, but they're still beautiful. Let me show you a nice fresh pair. Aren't they lovely? They're called Little Gentlemen. You can see why. They're so perfect, those little yellow cups. And this view is beautiful. You have the ghost plant in the wind, and you have the white bills coming out, and the magnolia stellata, the star magnolia, is just covered in flowers, and I love it. So I'm just very grateful to be able to share this with you. The other side of the garden, you can see things are starting to come, but that'll be exciting in a few more days. So, oh, and look at the kowhai. I'm just going to walk up here so you can see a bit clearer, a bit closer. It's too tall for me to get really close, but look at that. It's just waving all this yellow blossom in the wind. And then there's another one right there. So it's a colourful time. And look, we got the first bluebells coming out. So it's all happening here now. This is going to be very bright and colourful for a little while. But right now, I'm going inside. I'm going to tell you what God of me has been writing. God of me is me, right? Me and the 0 Point Field have been writing together this morning, as we do each Wednesday. It's Wednesday where I am. And let me tell you what we've been doing. It's just a really pretty garden, so I wanted you to see it. Right. Inside, out of the scruffy laundry that I'm very grateful to have, into the lounge, which is a bit tidier. And let me tell you, it's been a really good morning. Hang on. The table, which has wheels on, stuck on something. There we go. Right, now it's where it needs to be. So, in the last few weeks, we have been talking about how to use your heart compass to navigate confusing, difficult, conflicted, whatever situations in your life where you think, I don't know what's the right thing to do here. What should I do? That kind of situation. And over the last, I think, 3 weeks now, we've been untangling the process of how to make your heart coherent, because you've got to do that. You cannot get coherent, useful information for guidance or whatever it is you want if your heart is incoherent. It's just not going to happen. You are only going to get incoherent, confused, mixed up, everything else information when you have an incoherent heart. And if you're wondering what a coherent heart is, it's a heart that is connected with the brain, really, and it makes, once your heart is coherent, and we talked about how to do that last week and the week before, But when your heart is coherent, it makes your brain work better. And when your brain works better, your body works better and you feel better and you can think clearly. It's really, really good to have a coherent heart. So let me just start by saying that. But if you don't know what that is and you'd like a bit more information, follow me for free on Patreon. And you can see all of my lives where I do one of these once a week. You can go back over that information. But I also read everything that we write. I read onto video, and all of my free followers can access that for free. That's what I do, because I believe that everybody should be able to do this. And so it's the how-to. And I'm so excited to be doing the how-to right now. I love how-to. There's lots of fantastic ideas out there and things that inspire you. I don't just want to be inspired. I want to know what to do and how to do it. So this is what we're doing. So once you have your heart coherent, there are things you can do. But let me just go back slightly. We've been exploring how to use the heart compass. The first thing you have to do to use your heart compass, because your heart will guide you, and I don't mean, oh, this feels right. I mean, it's really direct and clear. When you can get information from your heart, it will tell you. And sometimes you will not like what it says. Okay? This isn't about feeling ooshy-gooshy good. This is about knowing what's right for you. So the first thing you have to do if you're confused and you want to get unconfused is actually know what your question is. And so last week and the week before, we talked about how to do that. And you actually have to have some clarity about what the question is, because if you don't know what the question is, you're sure not going to get the answer. Then, hi Tonya, lovely to see you. It's the next thing you have to do once you have some idea of what your question is. And sometimes you mostly know that you don't really know what the question is. You just know that you're confused as heck about something. You can't figure it out. But get clear about what you're confused about. Really. I know that sounds stupid, but it's really important. Once you know and what you don't know about a situation, then you're in a situation to say, okay, this is my question is, and these are all the 50 things that I can't figure out, but you know what those 50 things are. Then make your heart coherent. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, over the last couple of weeks. And so you can find all of that easily on God of Me. You don't have to scroll here. And it's available for free. And once you get into heart coherence, you can drop your question, float your question into your coherent heart. And I explained how it is that you know your heart is coherent, right? Not going to do that again now. So you place the question in here, and as soon as you do that, you get a response from your brain, from your heart, from your body. Everything about you is going to respond when you place that question in there. And then you observe, you notice, you pay attention to what those things are. And some people can just make a list inside their mind. A lot of us, it's really useful to write that stuff down. Because sometimes it's just so, and you can do this with your eyes open. You don't have to be quiet. You can do it with your eyes open. Once you connect with the information, capture it, write it down. Because there can be a lot. And sometimes it's surprising. And sometimes it's so fleeting. If you don't capture it when it comes, you'll forget it. Because there's so much else going on inside you. This is how you untangle a big spaghetti of stuff that's whirling around inside your head and you can't figure it out. You have to get your heart coherent. You have to know what you're confused about. You have to get your heart coherent, and then things will start, and you have to ask the question, and then you're going to start to get your responses. But you're going to get it from a place where your heart is coherent. And when your heart is coherent, your body and your brain work differently, and you get different information from them. So that was what we talked about. This is the background. This week, having done all of that, and you've got this bunch of information that you've received from your body, your feelings, your impulses, the thoughts that circle in your mind, your emotions, all of that is actually information. You may not like it. You may think this is horrible information. Fair enough. But it's still information. And if you keep just trying to push it away, it can't tell you anything. When you get coherent, that information can actually turn into stuff that's useful to you. So this is why we're talking about the how-to. So You got a big bundle of stuff that's going on inside you. And then we start to tease this out. So you got a big bundle of stuff and you've paid attention. Okay, I feel this heat in my body. I feel this tension in my gut. I feel really sad about A, B, C. I feel really angry about X, Y, Z. And you just collect all of these thoughts and feelings and emotions and whatever else is going on. And then it's a little bit like sorting out a jigsaw puzzle. First of all, when you first drop, place, float, put a question into your heart, you are going to get a response, an immediate response, an instant response from your body and your brain and your heart. There's going to be some kind of response to it. You always want to capture that, even if it makes absolutely no sense to you, don't understand it. The reason why is because this is the first response you have, and your brain is not going to get in the way of that. It will be something really true and honest, even when you don't understand it. So capture your first response. After that, out of all the responses you have, out of all the stuff that, and even if you're not doing heart coherence or whatever, even if you're just sitting there and your brain is like, a big tangle of baling twine and it's, what are the loudest voices? What is the strongest response? What's the biggest, loudest, ugliest, whatever, brightest thing that's going on inside your mind? There might be several of them. Capture them. Write it down. Draw it on your tablet. Whatever you have to do. Get clear. These are the things that are really screaming at me. Okay? Give those voices some recognition. Make a list. Write it down. I know I go on and on about this, but the thing about writing something down is that in order to do that, you actually have to separate yourself from the thing that you are writing about to write about it. And there's a great value in that. If you're just sitting there going blah, 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 blah inside your mind, you're not identifying anything. If you write it down, you actually have to go, oh, there is this voice in my head that says this. There is this big feeling in my body that feels like this. There is this feeling that I just want to do this. So get the really loud voices, capture them, write them down, listen to them. Don't do anything. Just listen to what they're telling you and make a note of it. Then there will be quieter voices. And I use voices, feelings, thoughts, pictures in your mind, memories that seem to come from, there'll be little things. It's like you have to clear the space of the stuff that's really loud. And by the way, this is going to take some time. It's going to require you to make an effort to put some time aside for yourself to do this. You're not going to figure out a big tangled mess of string and chewing gum if you're not willing to face it and look at it and unpack it gently, piece by piece. That's just, there is no substitute for actually facing up to what's going on inside you. So you get the big pieces on the table, things that are just, I'm in a lot of pain here, or I'm really angry, or whatever it is. You need to get those out so you can, okay, I acknowledge you, but I want to listen to the other things. I want to feel it. And I use listen and I talk about voices because I'm very auditory when I do this. I think out loud. I feel and hear things almost always and often in terms of words. And when I frame things inside my mind, I don't see pictures very often. I'm not a visual person. But if you are a really visual person, well then you are looking at the pictures that are in your mind. You are just observing, oh, I feel like there's like my hand's on fire because it wants to punch someone's lights out. So you have to actually pay attention to how it is that you frame things up inside yourself. Some people do things just with feelings. They don't get a picture. They don't hear words. They don't hear voices. They just have a feeling. And it's like, I want to get out of my chair and run. I want to climb the walls. I want to punch the wall. I want to throw something. You have to pay attention and just get these really loud voices down. And when you have the really loud voices, kind of sitting in chairs on one side of the room, if you like, there'll be some quiet ones. Don't think that because they're quiet, they're not important. Some of them, you're going to pay attention, you're going to see the picture or whatever, and you're going to think, yeah, I know what I mean about that. It really isn't that important to me. And that's true. There are things that just, it's like it's attached to, like if there's someone that you're deciding, geez, do I really want to keep on being with this person or do I not, for example? And if you're thinking about it and you think, well, that means that I won't be able to go to that class with them once a week. And it's like, oh, okay, I don't care about that. Oh my God. It actually means that I will have to leave and they will keep the dog. And that really matters to me. That's much stronger. The class that you're not going to attend together, that doesn't matter to you. So some of these small things, which like, for example, to stick with that example, if you're thinking, I'm thinking about leaving this person. I mean, the thing of, I want to leave this person because they say nasty things to me or because I feel frustrated with them or whatever, that's really in your face. But when you get that out of the way, these smaller things become more obvious to you and they're important. It's important that you understand you're not concerned about not going to the yoga class with them because you can find another yoga class and do that differently. But you are concerned about, oh, I might have to leave the dog behind. I love the dog. I bought the dog, but whatever. You understand? So you have to listen to the quiet voices. The ones where it doesn't matter to me. It's cool. There are other voices or other little pictures or other thoughts or other sensations where you look at them and you think, that's not very loud, but it also doesn't feel like it doesn't matter. And you may not know why it matters. But you have to understand what you're feeling is that it's like there's this quiet little thing that's sort of peeping around the corner and says, hey, I'm here. And you could overlook it and say, oh, it doesn't really matter, it's not very loud. But inside it, it's like there's a feeling inside the feeling. And the feeling that you can see, the feeling that you can hear, the feeling that you can notice on the surface, it's like, yeah, whatever. But it doesn't feel like something that you can just say, no, it doesn't matter. Because somehow it does matter, but you don't know why. And it's like, there's a little Easter egg. It's like an egg, you're looking at the white on a boiled egg, it's white on the outside. Inside, there's something that's bright and yellow. There's something important, but you don't know what it is. And so with those ones, what I've learned to do, and it took quite some time for the 0 Point Field and I to unpack this, because I think it's a really valuable skill. All of this is a really valuable skill to untangling the mess that we can get ourselves into inside, because lives are complicated and there's so many things that are all connected up together. And we think, I should know whether I want to leave this person or not. Actually, no, it's much more complex than that. And we actually have to have a way to feel into all of this stuff and know what's true for us. And the first step is just to be able to untangle it. And so this feeling that feels small, but it feels like there's something else inside it, what I've learned to do, and I don't really have better words for this, it's better expressed in the way that we wrote it today, the 0 Point Field and I, I've learned to go inside the feeling that doesn't feel like much, but it doesn't feel like something I can dismiss. I've learned to go inside it. It's the only way I can say it. It's something I could teach a person to do, but I haven't, I can't explain that in a sentence. It's something that will be explained more as the 0 Point Field and I continue writing down the track. But the point is, there's a feeling inside the feeling, and when you are able to place your awareness into that other place, which is the kind of buzz or the vibe or the thing that you can feel that says, don't put me down, I'm important, but you just can't see why, you get information. And it might be something quite, oh, okay, that's subtle, that's important, or it might be a thing that blows up in your face. That can happen too. And when that happens, the most practical piece of advice or suggestion that I can give you is to keep writing, because in order to write about what you've just gone, oh my God, that was a really awful, strong, powerful thing that I just remembered or realized, if you're writing about it, you have to be looking at it from the outside enough to be able to say, oh my goodness, I remember this, and I experienced that, and I felt this, and so it keeps you out of it to a certain extent. So writing is very valuable in that way. If you bang into something big, reach for something tangible, you have to use your hands and a different part of your brain that isn't involved with going, oh my God, this feels awful, to write about it, which is why there's value. If you hit something big, write about it, because it makes you use your hands and your brain in a different way, and there's value in that. So, as you're writing, do your best to keep capturing, I feel this in my body. I have this thought about what I'm feeling or what I've remembered. I have this sensation. I want to do this thing. So that you are talking about facts and actual tangible things that you have observed and noticed. Not, I remember this and I hate that person and I feel this and I want to do that. And it's just this great emotional, it's like wallowing in the emotions isn't going to help you. Just reinforces the awfulness of it. Okay, it's awful. So get very specific about how you experience that awful in your body and in your thoughts and in your feelings. It's much more useful. That's information that can guide you. Going, oh my God, that was horrible and I want to die now, isn't actually going to help you. Even to say, okay, now I feel like I want to die, and write that down. Now I feel horrible because my head is suddenly very painful and my whole body has tightened up and I just want to go into a corner and curl up. Those are objective observations. That's useful information. But just throwing your hands in the air and saying, oh my God, this is horrible, I want to die now, I'm going to go into a corner and curl up, is not gathering the information that's presenting itself to you. Hey, I'm not saying that's always easy to do, but I am saying these are choices that if you know they're there, you can make a different choice and do something different with the information you're receiving. This is another reason also why in the 0 point field too. I say it's because the graph between the 0 point field and when we write, it's a lot smoother now. There are still points when I just think, oh gee, I don't know what to write next. What do I say? I call the 0 point field 1. And then the thought comes into my awareness and I know what is next. And I understand now. I just know how it feels. And when it stops feeling like it's a smooth flow, then I tune in. What's the next? Give me the next piece. And it comes. So I know that there's still teamwork. It's not that I've taken over. Because when I write this stuff, I go down deep rabbit holes and get all confused and convoluted. So, just so you know. So then the thing that we talked about next is keep your brain on. Because many humans have this idea that the brain gets in the way of intuition. And I'm here to say to you that the 0 point field and it's the other way around. When you get your heart coherent, remember, it makes your brain work better. And your brain makes your body work better. And your heart also makes your body work better. It's this three-way dance, and when they're communicating and working together, the information flows. And more than that, you actually know what it means. If you come out of coherence, you're back into chaos. So all the way through this, there is this instruction from the 0 point field, hey, keep breathing in your heart. Stay in coherence. And if you get out of coherence, drop what you're doing, focus on your heart again, get yourself back into coherence, because you need to do that before you can understand the information you're getting. So it's this dance. And so what happens is when you get your heart coherent, then you use your brain to observe the information that comes to you, and you use your body because your body is getting information as well, and it's giving you information through sensation. And your brain is this wonderful observer, and it gathers information and it sorts it out. Like, this is important, this is not important, this is really random, but it feels important even though I don't know why. So I'm going to keep that as important even though I don't understand it. And this piece doesn't matter at all. And it's this beautiful dance between having your brain observe what your body and your heart are telling you, because you feel stuff in your heart when it's coherent. It either goes, oh, this feels good, or it kind of shuts down and it's less coherent. It either expands or it contracts. And you need your brain to observe that. So it's like there's a language that your body speaks and your heart speaks, and your brain, if it's working if these three things are working together, you actually develop a language and a communication and a working relationship. And if you keep doing that, and every single human who has a heart, a brain, and a body can do that. It is a skill, I'm telling you. I learned it. If I learned it, you can learn it. Every human who practices that will get to a point where nobody can tell you what your truth is, because you know. And if you're in a mess and confused and tangled up, you actually know what you need to do to change that and to connect to information. It's a skill that you've mastered. And I love that I can do that now. Because even in my darkest moments when I think, I know that I can get to a point where I will get guidance, I will get information. I have that skill. I can connect and I can sort out the mess until I know, because my heart leads me, my body leads me, my brain guides me. They work together. I can make the coherence to get the sense, to know which way to go and what's true for me and what isn't. And I can't tell you what a freedom that is. To never feel lost or blind, flying blind in my life ever, ever again. That is why it's worth doing this. This is a big chunk of God of me right here, is being able to do this. And so I'm excited just to have got to the point of saying, hey, this is a skill that you and anyone can learn. And yeah, it's a skill. You don't learn to snowboard or play the violin or grow a garden or fly to the moon, be an astronaut in a day. It's going to take some effort. But in the process of the trial and the error and the learning and the making mistakes and keeping your brain on, you're going to develop a mastery of navigating your life and yourself that will be so precious to you. And you can't lose it. Once you have it, you know how to do it, it's always there. It's just the best thing to know that when all the shit is flying around you and everything's confusing as hell, you know what you can do to understand what your next step is. Maybe not the one after that, but the one right now, you know you can connect with that and you can take that and trust it. It's the most precious thing that I've ever got in my life. Apart from all the other stuff that is still coming. So, I'm passionate about this because it's made such a difference for me. So, if you want to hear me read what the 0 Point Field and I wrote about this morning, and you're not already following me for free on Patreon, the link's down below. You know what to do. I will look forward very much to seeing you there. Big love. Bye-bye.